Hey YouTube, in this video I'm going to do a deck profile on my updated Granblue Legion deck. So this deck saw a big change with the introduction of their Legion stuff. So it's a little different. I mean, it's still, I want to say it's still really good, like how it was with the Break Ride and, I already forgot his name, but the guy from Fighters Collection, him and Night Mist. So Night Mist used to be in here. Took him out. Originally I was going to stick with like two of him, but in playtesting the deck, it doesn't function the same way as Spike Brothers do, where Spike Brothers can get a huge bonus and can like do a huge play with their Break Ride turn with their Legion, whereas Granblue, like, it's not as good as it was when they were able to do the Break Ride and the superior Break Ride. Without that, the Break Ride is really not as good as it was. So I just went pure Legion for this one. And it works okay. One thing I would like, or I wish, that the effect would be to choose two from the drop. Like, okay, well anyway, we'll explain it here. So, the first main grade 3 boss is Young Pirate Noble, Pint Noir. So this guy, his effect is when you Legion, you mill the top 3 and then choose a card from the drop zone and call it to R. I feel like this should have been choose 2 and called them to R. Or, like, they could have added, like, Counterblast 1, choose 2, and called R. Something like that. Because I feel like the effect seems kind of gimped. I don't know. But it just doesn't seem as good as it could have been. It would have been a lot better if it was call 2 instead of call 1. Because the combos don't seem as insane as the Break Ride play in the previous deck. But anyway, moving on. Granblue is still fairly good clan. It's surprisingly very good budget clan. So next we've got the other ones. This is the rare ones. So Witch Doctor of the Dead Sea, Negro Bolt. He's basically the replacement to Cositus. The only thing about him is, okay, I feel like his effect is more expensive, but it should have been like call 2. I feel like calling 1 is kind of, I don't know. And the fact that they're doing it when they're attacking is also kind of weird. But yeah, I can see how they're trying to do it to balance it out. But still, it seems a little underpowered compared to the previous Granblue deck. At least from playtesting it. So moving on to grade 2s, 4 of the Legion Mate, Pirate Belle, Pint Blonde. This is the Legion Mate for Pint Noir. So you have black and white. This is actually probably one of their best cards they got. The only bad thing about it is that it requires the Legion. So it's when your Vanguard Legions, you can Counterblast 1 to superior call it from the drop zone to R. Playtesting the deck right now, after like playtesting it a lot, this is probably one of the main cards that you'll see from the drop zone hitting the field. So this plus whatever you choose to get from the Legion effect gives you that +2, but I feel like, I don't know, even if the Legion was like +2 and this would have been like a +3, I mean, this is dependent on this being in the drop zone, you know, there's kind of, it's not that hard to set it up, but still, it's kind of like the deck seems like it could have used a little bit of extra power, but it seems like it's still pretty good. I mean, it functions fine, it's just, it could have been just that much better if the effects were slightly different. Like, it would have been more like Spike Brothers. Next, we've got 4 Undead Dragon, Ghoul Dragon. This is kind of a disappointing card. I feel like it could, like, the effect could have been if something is placed, like, if another Granblue is placed on R from the drop zone, rather than just when this guy is placed on the field from the drop zone. But anyway, basically he's when something is placed, when this is placed on R from the drop zone, you get the effect of when it hits the Vanguard, when this attack hits the Vanguard, you can draw a card. So, actually no, it gives you the Kagero effect. It retires a card. Retires one of the opponent's rear guards. So it's okay. It's a okay Legion Mate. It's the Legion Mate for the other Legion. And then the only other grade 2 I'm running are my 3 Ruin Shades. I've always had 3 Ruin Shades in my Granblue deck. I've never taken them out. They've always been in here, and they've never left. So, Ruin Shade, It's the best one. It's the best other grade 2 because it can mill 2 when it attacks to be 11k. So it's just really good. And you want to mill. Trust me, you're gonna want to mill as much as you can to set up. I mean, you want this in the drop zone, and you want a bunch of other types of, and like this can be in the drop zone as well. So for grade 1s, Reef Banshee, really good in Granblue. A lot of people were saying the Quintet Wall going to Granblue is going to make the broken. I think that's a big exaggeration, but it's still really good in Granblue, or just in Legion decks in general. It's always nice to run one of them. Then 3 Gustions because they're more reliable, obviously. But yeah, Reef Banshee, really good. There's a really nice combo with a certain card that I am running in here with Reef Banshee if it goes off. 3 Sea Strolling Banshee. Some people only run 2, some people run 4. I think 3 is the best number, really. If I run 2, it's too rare to see when he's in the drop zone. And if I run 3 or if I run 4, they tend to clog the hand. So at 3, I think that's the right number because there have been times where I've always wanted to have one of these in the drop zone, and with 3 of them, that just helps the chances a lot better. So 3. 3 of this new guy, Boatswain Armin. When he is placed on R from the drop zone, he's a 10k booster or 10k attacker, depending on how you look at it. So that's why he's a pretty good, versatile card overall. But most of the time, I will choose Sea Strolling Banshee over him. It just depends on how many cards are in my hand at the time and how my field is set up. So these are mainly your 2 grade 1 targets that you'll be calling from the drop zone. And then I am running 2 Samurai Spirit. Samurai Spirit's one of those nice tech cards that Granblue's always had. It's very good to run 2 or 3 of these. Sometimes I think I might actually run a 3rd one, like take one of this guy out, because this guy's effect is kind of rare. Especially since most of the time I'll be calling a Sea Strolling Banshee or a Ruin Shade, and followed by a Pint Blanc. So, I don't know. It's nice to use Samurai Spirit to get rid of Banshee again, so that I have a better booster. It can hit proper numbers, unless she goes behind the Vanguard, obviously. But anyway, that's what I'm running right now. And then for the last grade 1 is 1 Evil Shade. I run him over the 10k Legion booster because he is live as soon as you call him on the field, and he helps you mill. So this plus the 3 Ruin Shades are the main mill engine for Granblue. So one of them is enough. It's like that personal 10k booster. For grade 0s, I am running 1 Chappie the Ghosty. Some people don't think he's necessary anymore. I think he's a very nice combo with Reef Banshee. So if you open up with him, you can mulligan him back in, and then, or whatever. I mean, he's a good 10k shield. And up against decks like Sinbuster and Yggdrasil and all those guys who have Glory Maelstrom effects, Chappie the Ghosty is just a really good card. He's an extra 10k shield, so what's not to like? He's going to always mill a Sea Strolling Banshee or a Pint Blanc. One of these 2 are the prime candidates for Chappie's effect. So he just adds more consistency compared to like your typical Ruin Shade and Evil Shade. So we run 1 of him because it allows us to get away with running 13 grade 1s, which is still fine in terms of ride consistency. And then for the trigger lineup, as I've always run with Granblue, I am running my 12 criticals. So they did get a new critical in the form of Jimmy the Ghosty, so we are running him. And then 4 of the Night Spirit and 4 of the Rough Seas Banshee. This is basically Psychic Bird clone clan. So 12 critical, 4 heal. Could run Rick the Ghosty, since I've got so many Ghosties in here. And speaking of Ghosties, the starter I went with is Peter the Ghosty. I am still running him. I did not change him for the new Legion guy, mainly because from playtesting the deck, the new Legion starter, it either dies to Kagero really fast, then it's useless, or it just kind of sits there and doesn't do anything until you Legion. So yeah, it's a 5k booster, whatever, but most of the time it's just going to be vanilla and just do nothing except boost a Vanguard or Rearguard. Whereas Peter, like, you can, if you're up against a clan like Kagero or Link Joker, you can use his effect early on to put him in the soul, mill 2 and then draw a card to replace him. So you're breaking even, and you're also milling and setting up the drop zone for Legion and for Granblue's effects. And to be honest, Granblue needs to have like 6 or 7 cards in the drop zone when they Legion, so they have a good enough amount of targets to Superior Call, because Legion does get rid of 4 cards. So Ruin Shade, Peter, and Evil Shade, these are really the main ways to get cards in the drop zone, along with Chappie the Ghosty. So this is basically my Granblue engine that mills stuff, besides the Legion skill of milling 3 cards as well. So anyway, guys, that was my updated Granblue Legion deck. Overall, it's a very fun deck. It's very affordable, with the exception of, I guess, Gustin. But I mean, I've had my Ruin Shades and my Gustins and even Chappie since whenever, like so long ago now, that I still consider this a very budget clan. So anyway, guys, let me know what you think of Granblue in the current meta. Do you think they're going to be one of those rogue clans that can do really good and disrupt the scene, competitive scene? And as always, guys, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks.